Before you guys try and cancel me, let me make one thing very clear. I hold no hatred towards anybody who supports Universal Audio and buys their products. At the end of the day, their products are great tools that can turn out some amazing results, and there's absolutely a reason why their products are just industry standard at this point. And to be honest, if it wasn't for this one issue that I had with the Apollo Solo, I wouldn't be selling it in the first place. Alright, what's up everybody? So yes, as you can already tell by the title of this video, I have yet again sold my Apollo interface. If you guys have been here for some time now, you will remember that I used to have an Apollo Twin and I ended up selling it after 2 months for a whole bunch of reasons why, and I ended up going with the ID22, which you can see is on my desk today. I eventually ended up getting rid of my ID22 and then later settling on the Apollo Solo after a little bit of consideration between that and some other choices. That became my new interface and something that I would end up sticking with for about 5 to 6 months now. And that brings us here to today. That has been the history of the interfaces that have been used on this channel. I would say the longest period of time where I stuck with one interface has been with the Apollo Solo. Again, I need to reiterate this, that I do not believe Universal Audio creates bad products necessarily. I think a lot of people are going to be under the assumption that I'm just some UA hater, which is simply not the case. The Apollo Solo has been one of my favorite interfaces that I've actually had the opportunity to work with. Okay, so now we need to start clearing up some of the confusion, because at this point you guys are probably scratching your head wondering what gives. Why did I end up selling the Apollo Solo if it was one of your favorite interfaces that you had used? And it's actually quite simple. It really comes down to a few things, and no, not being able to bypass the preamps is not one of them. I needed an interface that had more outputs, and at the end of the day, I have to be real with myself, I never use the plugins that came with the interface. If you're buying a Universal Audio interface, besides wanting just a high quality product, the plugins should be at the top of your list for reasons why you are going to buy one. The fact that you can run those plugins in unison, have it all in real time with zero latency, and print the effects onto your recording into your DAW as you would with any other piece of analog gear should be a priority for you when you are buying one of those interfaces. At least to me, that's how I feel about it. That is the biggest reason why I am getting rid of this interface, because I never took advantage of that feature. I use all analog gear at the end of the day. My microphone runs into a preamp and then that goes into my interface. I have no need to use the compressors or the unison technology on the Apollo Solo or really any other Apollo interface. So for me, having something like an Audient ID22, which has more outputs on it, makes way more sense for myself. I'm not even going to be using the preamps on the Audient. I'm going to be using my preamps, my external preamps, and then running that audio into my ID22. Now you may be thinking, why did I even sell my ID22 to begin with just to come back to it later on? Which is a great question, and honestly at the end of the day, I think it just comes down to feeling that need to have the newest item that's on the market. I compare it a lot to like the iPhones, to be honest, you know, because there's people that, you know, they'll have an iPhone 11 and then the iPhone 12 comes out literally the next year. And knowing that they're totally fine with that iPhone 11, they go buy the iPhone 12 right after it comes out. So for me, that is very much what I experienced. It's like I saw the Apollo Solo, the marketing from UA is just impeccable, and it made me want it. Straight up, it made me want it. And I ended up selling the ID22 to have that newest piece of tech. And also the fact that UA is at this point considered industry standard. So that definitely was a deciding factor. I wanted something that, you know, was the newest item on the market. It was industry standard. I thought that I would have it all. And, you know, it's crazy because at this point in time, it really just doesn't fit my needs, you know, what I need personally. And the ID22 handles all of that. You know, I guess my biggest takeaway and thing I'm gonna be able to learn from this is really just, you know, don't get wrapped up in the whole pressure of feeling like you need to have the newest, hottest piece of tech on the market, because what works for somebody else may not necessarily work for you. This is a much older interface, but it's gonna help me accomplish what it is I'm setting out to do much more efficiently than I would have with the Apollo Solo. And look, I just wanna make this clear, I'm not trying to stir up the pot and upset any Universal Audio fans out there. They make amazing products, and again, there's a reason why they are industry standard. All I'm saying is that what makes sense for me may not necessarily make sense for you, and I can't lie to myself and keep telling myself that I'm happy with the Apollo Solo, because at the end of the day, it's just not delivering on what I need. So yeah, you know, I just want to be transparent with you guys, because I know some of you are going to have some questions on, you know, what happened to the Apollo Solo when you see the ID22 sitting here instead, and I just want to make it clear, it has nothing to do with the interface itself. This is a beautiful piece of equipment, and it's going to serve somebody else better than it did me. For myself, the ID22 is perfect. It's exactly what I need. This has been a really good learning experience. Again, I'm going to be able to take some of the values that I've learned from this and apply this to other pieces of gear so that I don't get too caught up in the moment and just start buying things unnecessarily that I don't need. Anyways, guys, that is gonna wrap it up. If you haven't already yet, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon beside it so that you can stay notified for whenever I drop any of my upcoming videos. With that being said, I will see you all in my next one. Take care, everybody. Peace out.